So welcome everybody for an ordination ceremony of Tim. And once all the monks get in, everyone else gets in, we can start the ceremony. The ceremony in Buddhism is very simple. I remember going to the ordination of the first Anglican priest, K. Goldsworthy, in St. George's Cathedral. It took 2 hours. It was so boring. And at the time, because there was only a few non-Anglicans there was the abbot of the monastery in New Norcia, Abbot Placid, and there was the moderator of the Uniting Church. We all put together on the unbelievers, the heretics pew. And we all got so bored after half an hour. We spent an hour and a half telling jokes to each other. The old Abbot Placid, he was a good friend. He liked my jokes. He had a few good ones himself too. But you don't need to tell jokes here because that's my job. So, we're waiting until everyone gets ready, and then we can do the novice ordination. So, in our tradition, and our forest monastic tradition, in order to keep what we call QC, quality control, we keep a person in white for 1 year, call them Anagarika. And for 1 year we can have a look at them and they can have a look at us. And we can see, make sure they're well trained. Actually, it's not called well training, that well brainwashed. And once they're well brainwashed, then we can actually allow them to become novices. So it's a good little way of just seeing if a person really wants to commit themselves to monastic life. Sure, there's many things which they cannot do when you become a monk or a novice, but there's many freedoms as well. So while people are coming in, there was one of my favorite stories that 2 monks in Thailand went to a person's house and they saw an aquarium with fish in the aquarium. And one of the monks said, that is not compassionate to put fish in a prison. What did the fish do that they can't swim about freely? They're in this big box called an aquarium. It is not Buddhist, it's unfair. And the other monk said, oh, you do not understand. Because a fish in an aquarium has so many freedoms that fish in the wild don't have. For example, he said, you never see a visitor dropping a fishing line into the aquarium with a hook on the end. So one of the first things, the fish in an aquarium is free from the danger of fishermen. A fish in the wild, they can be swimming around, they can see a nice worm, they don't know whether that's going to be their last meal. It's one of the reasons why, few people know this, that fish have a lot of indigestion, because eating is very dangerous. And number 2, the fish in an aquarium do not have to worry about going hungry. Every day the owner puts food, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, into the top of the aquarium. It's like having takeaway. They don't even need to find it themselves. It's delivered to their door. So the fish in the aquarium is free from hunger. And the fish in the aquarium, they've always got lots of water, no droughts, no floods, it's the same level. And also fish in an aquarium. In the wild, sometimes the water's hot, sometimes the ice is over, but in the aquarium it's constant temperature. It's like having an air-conditioned hotel suite for fish in an aquarium. And lastly, if the fish ever gets sick, the owner usually gets a fish doctor in to heal them. They've got free health care. Fish in the wild, they get sick, they have to look after themselves. So he was saying that fish in an aquarium are free from so many dangers. Yes, it is true they cannot swim wherever they want to, but they're free from the danger of fishermen, free from hunger, free from drought, free from flood, free from being too cold or too hot, free from hunger, and they also get free from sickness because they get free medical care. So, if you were a fish, where would you like to live? In the rivers where people are always trying to fish you up and eat you? Where bigger fish are trying to chase you, where sometimes you go really hungry and sometimes you're cold or hot? which place would you like to live? Many people say, I'd like to live in an aquarium, free from so many dangers. And that's the same as Tim. Yeah, when he's in a monastery, there's many places he can't go. The pubs, the nightclubs, so you can't swim there anymore, Tim. There's many other places where you cannot go. So, you're like the fish in an aquarium, but you're free from so many dangers. You're free from the danger of wives and mothers-in-law. You're free from the dangers of kids who can drive you crazy sometimes. You're free from the danger of the taxman. You don't have any money, don't pay any tax. You're free from the you never go hungry. You're free from the danger of these days that people lose their jobs. Tim, you will have job security. Not like these days. You work in the mines, you work in sort of Dick Smiths, and then you're out of a job. So here, you know, we're not going anywhere in monasteries. It lasts for hundreds of years. So you've got freedom from worrying about your job, freedom from worrying about where your next meal's coming from. You've been working in the kitchen for so long, you know, you don't know what you're going to do with all the food we get. And so you're freedom from so many worries and concerns. So really, it's not that he's giving up all his freedoms. He's becoming a novice to get more freedoms. A different way of looking at it. That's why that people voluntarily decide to live a peaceful, happy life. And then people say, yeah, but what use is it for society becoming a novice, becoming a monk? What do we do for others? And you just have to look at some of the records of monks like me. We teach so much. We help so many hundreds and thousands of people. Get all these emails, people solving their problems, saving their lives, saving their marriages, curing their diseases. It's amazing the amount of stuff we do. So that could be Tim in the future. Who knows? In the future, all your friends, he won't be like Tim anymore. It won't be novice Tim. It will be Saint Tim. Who knows? So anyway, that's enough introduction. So now we can, everyone's sitting down, that's just to settle you in here. Now, please come in, find a nice place to sit. It's so if you'd like to start the ceremony now by going up. These are your parents? Yes, nice to meet you. Very good. So you'd like to come up and are you going to do the forgiveness ceremony? To your parents? That's really nice to do. Yeah, go for it. This is one of the most beautiful ceremonies. So they're going to show respect to you by bowing first of all. Tim? Showing respect to his mum and dad. And saying your own words. So it's just ask forgiveness of his mum and dad. You can put the bowl down because we're going to use that in the end there. So it's one of the most beautiful things to do, to ask forgiveness. Just somebody, Hugh Sykes, he sent me a nice article this morning, Tim, about a survivor of Auschwitz. And she said that she was not free of the pain and suffering of Auschwitz until she forgave. And she said, forgiveness is something we can freely do. No one can make us do that. No one can make us not do that. It's totally in our choice. And she said she had the freedom to forgive. And she exercised that freedom, which means that now she was past all that problems in the past, which is beautiful. Okay, so now off you go.
Sadhu,
Right, kneel down. That's right. Very good. Just to make you more relaxed, just to let you know this is being streamed live all over the world. That should really do it. Okay, Ahang Bante. Sabba dukkha nissarana.
Sabba dukkha nissarana nibbana. Sachikaranga taya. Iman kasavangetva. Pabbaja mangbante. Anukampang upadaya. Sabba dukkha nissarana nibbana. Sachikaranga taya. Iman kasavangetva. Pabbaja mangbante. Anukampang upadaya. Sabba dukkha nissarana nibbana. Sachikaranga taya. Iman kasavangetva.
Very good. Now you offer the robes and the bowl, because one of my jobs as his preceptor is to make sure he's properly dressed. So I have to check, make sure his robes are all present and correct. Yes, it looks like it's all over there and nothing extra. Very good. So, say again.
Sabba dukkha nissarana nibbana. Sachikaranga taya. Etam kasalang dadva. Pabbaja mangbante. Anukampang upadaya. Sabba dukkha nissarana nibbana. Sachikaranga taya. Etam kasalang dadva. Pabbaja mangbante. Anukampang upadaya.
Very good. So far so good. It's not that bad. And you know, you've been in my monastery for such a long time now that you know that you're allowed to make mistakes. So if you do make a mistake, you know, we don't sort of criticize you, we just tell everybody about it so we can all have a good laugh. Why waste a good mistake? But usually when you relax and you have a wonderful, peaceful time, and you're about to make that step, you know, having stayed in the monastery for 1 year, wearing white, now, no more kitchen, whee! No more having to, you know, it's just a real pain having to clean his clothes, you know, wearing white all day, you always get them dirty. Now you can wear brown robes. The reason we have brown robes, if you don't know, is because you can spill all sorts of stuff on this and it doesn't show, so you don't need to worry about washing them too often. Actually, you do have to keep them washed. But it's amazing, you know, brown, you can, tea, coffee, you can spit on there, it doesn't show. These white things, a tiny bit, and it's just a real pain, yes. So that's one of the advantages. But the main advantage, obviously, is that just further act of renunciation. The main thing which he's doing now, which he hasn't done before, is that as a novice monk, you renounce all your money, which is a wonderful thing to do. It means we live a life which is not driven by the acquisition or the power used by spending money. So everything you need, you know, we have at the monastery. We have the house, we have enough robes for you, food every day. If you're sick, we have medicine, you go to the doctor, everything gets looked after. So, you know, financially, you don't need anything, which is a wonderful sense of freedom. And some of your friends may not know this story, but after I was a monk for about 3 or 4 years, I was such a content monk because you didn't have any money, no access to any money. Just had your food, your robes, a place to stay at night. Such a peaceful existence, not worrying about, you know, income and salaries or bills or anything like that. So it's peaceful. Imagine you don't have any bills, no outgoings, no ingoings, don't need to spend anything. Money is just not part of things anymore. Until one day somebody came up to me, you know this story, but someone came up to me and they said I'd help them out. And there was a little loophole. They said, well, we can't give you any money, but they said, we have 100 Thai baht for you. I'll keep it. You just tell me what you want for 100 Thai baht. And because I never had any money, I didn't know what I wanted. So I said to this guy, no, I'll come back tomorrow. I'll think about that tonight, and I'll let you know. And so that night, I got out a piece of paper, which actually, honestly, was a wrapping of a mosquito coil. That's all the paper I had. So the first thing I wrote down, I needed an exercise book, just something simple. And I also needed a new, just a simple ballpoint pen. And I was doing this by the light of a candle. I said, No, what I really needed was one of these little oil lamps, something simple, nothing expensive. There's no electricity in these monasteries. And talking about light, I also needed a new flashlight to walk in the jungles with at night time with all the snakes and other things around. And also, they're talking about writing, I needed some aerograms to send to my family back home. And I put all this stuff down, and I soon realized that 100 baht was not enough. And it was really suffering to find out what I could actually scratch out. And I was thinking what I really could do without. Then I started thinking of all these other things I needed. And then I realized that was craving. So immediately I threw that piece of paper in the waste bin. When that guy came next day, I said, "Don't you ever do that to me again." I was such a happy, content monk when I never had any opportunity to buy things. Now I have some money. You make me suffer, so get out of it. Never do that again. And that's some of the peace of like being in monastic. You know, you can't buy anything because you've got no money, so you don't even think about it. Which means that you're always very, very peaceful. And you can show other people that this is a life lived where the pursuit and use of money is not paramount anymore. The other things are more important. So that's one of the great things you can do. A nice, simple, peaceful life where compassion is the currency rather than power. So now I've got to give you the instructions. This is our tradition that we do the traditional 5 types of meditation on the body. And it's hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth and skin. They've been doing this for 2,500 years. All Buddhist ordination ceremonies, they do this. And it took me many years to understand, well, why are you doing that for? And the answer is, and this is mostly to your friends, he's going to be a monastic now. He has to no more hanky-panky for Tim. So if you see a beautiful woman coming in the monastery, you've got to restrain yourself. And so that in order to do this, young men becoming monks, in order to subdue your lustful tendencies, we notice that if you see a beautiful girl coming in, what do you see? All you ever see is her hair of the head, hair of the body, her nails, her teeth, her skin, because that's the outside of a human body. That's all you really see. And so this recollection is, if you see a beautiful person's hair, say, I saw in the newspaper, Elle Macpherson's in town, or she's in town somewhere. But anyway, if you see Elle Macpherson or Angelina Jolie come, the beautiful hair, always remember that what you see is dead. It's dead stuff, because the roots of the hair, the thing which is alive, is underneath the skin. And any hair of the body is all dead stuff. And the nails, if you see people's nails, it's all dead stuff. The live stuff is underneath. Teeth, dead. And even the skin which you see, the outside is all dead. The inside, maybe a millimeter underneath, that's the live part of the skin. So if you see this beautiful Taylor Swift come into the monastery, all you're seeing is dead hair, dead teeth, dead skin and dead nails. Would you like to kiss that? Would you like to embrace that? Would you like to stroke that? Exactly. So that just makes, puts people in proportion. Guys are the same. So anyway, it's just a monastic way of just protecting monks for the first few years of their life until they get some wisdom and they don't need that anymore. So anyway, here we go. I've got to recite this to you and you've got to recite it back. Keza, Loma, Naka, Danta, Tacho, Danta, Naka, Loma, Keza. And you know what those mean? What does Tacho mean? You sure about that? Do you want to ask a friend? You think of it again? Yes. What about Keza?
Keza, hair of the head.
Yes. And what about Loma?
Hair of the body.
Yeah, he had a lot of that a couple of days ago. Really a lot of beard and stuff like that. But anyway, it's all gone, which is great. Okay, very good. So, you've passed that test, so you're going well. So far, so good. Now here is your robes, and I usually put this one on you. This is your under vest. So this is the first piece of brown which you wear. At last, yes. Here we go. You know how to do it? Very good. Excellent. And now you will take these robes. Who's going to help him dress? Okay. So there we go. Now you go and take this out. And you always take a bow. We have... Belt. Oh, yeah. Well, okay. No, you don't need a belt. Come on. Okay. Very good. Okay. So off you go and get dressed. And when you come back, a new person. Actually, we didn't give you a name yet. What's the possible name? Because the party names usually have to end in O or something. So, Timo, no, you can't Timo. He said Sucharito, didn't it? Somebody said. Or Pasado?
Well, that's a good name.
Pasado.
Oh, that was a Pasada.
Sorry?
Pasada, I think. I don't know.
Pasado is a nice one. It's beautiful, yeah. Okay, that's it.
Did you change one?
No, I did. So we've got to give him a new name, because if he uses his old name, sometimes his old character comes back, Tim. So we use the opportunity to rename him when he becomes a novice. And when I became a novice monk, I was given the name, and Brahmawangsa was a big name, but usually Brahm for short. And to this day, actually not this day, until a couple of years ago, the only person I would allow to call me by my old name, Peter, was my mum and dad. So you're still allowed to call him Tim. You gave him that name, so fair enough. But everybody else will be calling him, I think the name we're going to call him is Pasado. Pasado. Pasada means a wonderful word. It means like beautiful, it means faith, it means inspiration. And they even use that, for the name of like palaces, prasad. And I think that's even in Malaysia and Singapore, they use that for palace. So anyway, Pasado will be his new monk's name. So it's a very nice 3-digit name, P-A-S-A-D-O. Easy to say. And anyway, that once he's got dressed, once you actually become a novice, you wear new robes, get a new name. It's like, you are got a new identity, a new personality, and the robes always remind you, of what you are supposed to be doing now, because there's more expected of you as a Buddhist monk, more renunciation. Again, many, many years ago when I first came over to Perth, I asked the Catholic monks, is it okay to call Buddhist monks? Because that's a word they use for the Christian tradition. And the old abbot of the Benedictine monastery said, yes, because, you do live a life of celibacy, no sex. So that's number one. Simplicity, you don't have any money, you live a very simple life, and live a life devoted to compassion and kindness. He said, so you actually deserve to be called a monk. So yes, we deserve to be called a monk, but you also have to act like a monk as well. And there's certain things, you may not know anything about Buddhism at all, but you know what the idea of a monk actually means. So if a monk has a mobile phone, like some of the monks do in Thailand, it doesn't look like a monk, does it? If they have a Louis Vuitton bag, it doesn't look like a monk. You know who I'm talking about. So sometimes that we have to remember just what actually is a monk. Simple, where you don't try and show off by your possessions. You don't wear Rolex watches, although one of our monks has a Rolex watch. He actually, as a layperson, he bought it in Hong Kong for $1. It's a fake one. He has one of those. He doesn't wear it though, just gets it out every now and again to sort of impress people as a fake one. But anyway, so we try and have simple things and live a peaceful life. And that is actually the ideal of a monk. And so when you have your brown robes, it reminds you every morning, you put these on. This is not putting on a shirt, not putting on trousers. It's putting on monk's robes. And it reminds you that when you wear these robes, many things are expected of you, by just ordinary people. And because I've been around in this country for 32 years. And I was in Thailand as a monk 9 years before that. But nowadays people see monks and they understand who they are and what they're supposed to be doing. And that really helps, because know that we don't buy things, we don't sell things, we don't have many possessions, we live a simple life, a kind life, a life devoted to meditation, not living in fancy places, living in small huts, or in my case a little cave. And that is inspiring people that we're actually making a choice in life, not being materialistic and judging ourselves by our salary and how much we own, which we all have to give up when we die anyway. We give that up before we die. And so we can live a very simple, peaceful, non-materialistic life, which is making a great statement to our modern world. And in a life which is devoted and worried about economy and jobs and something like that, we say, well look, you can live a very simple life. You don't really need that much to be happy. And you can also devote your life, instead of the acquisition of wealth, to the acquisition of what we call spiritual qualities, like kindness, like wisdom, like peace. So that is our wealth, that's our salary every year, to grow in compassion, peace, and even like virtue. And also being some people who are so trustworthy that if we say we're going to do something, we actually do it. You can rely on us. Because, and I know enough about the world, outside of monasteries, to know that sometimes you just can't trust people. They say they're going to come on time, they never do. They say they're going to pay you, and oh, I'm sorry, I can't make it this week. They say they're going to even give you a call, and never do that. But in monastic life, we say, no, if you make a promise, you keep it. That trust, that virtue, that reliability is something which, again, is a wonderful thing to develop in our world. So Tim, or now Passadho, he's obviously going to be really training in being such a trustworthy person, never lets anybody down. His word is like his bond, and he really means that. To encourage more virtue in our world. And when you have a virtuous community of monks and also nuns at our monastery in Dharmasara, that also inspires the world. Yet it can be done. It's not like everybody lies, everybody is not to be trusted. There are some people who can be trusted, who, and even with money, years ago, okay, he's here now. Oh, I can't tell the story now. Ooh. Okay, wait a moment. We've given you a name now. So I don't know if you like this one, but the name which I really liked from the New Year's Eve was Cappuccino. But I can't give you that because that's not a party name. So it is Passadho. Passadho. That is your novice name. Later on you can change it if you really want to, but I think that's a name which rhymes with me. And it means like inspiration, delight, beauty, so faith. That's a very beautiful word. Okay, so novice Passadho, would you please strut down the aisle like a model wearing the latest fashion, 2,500 years old. Very good. And you're allowed to take pictures at any time. Sorry? I can't do a spin around. Okay, so do the next bit. Okasa. Sabba aparada. Yeah. Okay, start again. Okasa. Good. Okasa karunyang. Very good. Now kneel. Ahang pante savanasi. Savanasilang yachami. Very good. So he's now asking for the precepts of a novice monk. And those precepts for the family to know, so you can keep him in check if ever he visits home, is not to deliberately kill any living being, not to steal, take what's not given, no sex at all. Okay, remember that. So any hanky-panky, just tell him off and you can call me. No lying, so your word is your bond, be absolutely truthful. No alcohol or non-medicinal drugs. If it's prescribed by a doctor or things like aspirin, Panadol, that's okay, but nothing which is illegal. And it is no eating in the afternoon or the evening or night time. Now I've been keeping that precept for 41 years, having all my meals in the morning just before lunch, and look how fat I've become. I've become incredibly fat if I was eating 3 meals a day, so it's very healthy for you. You're not going to go thin, you're not going to waste away. So just eating in the morning time. And then it is, which one is first? It's, I get these ones mixed up, but it's not going to entertainments. Sorry, no more movies. You're not able to watch the Star Wars latest movie anymore. Sorry about that. Or did you catch it already? Sneaking it in before he ordains. There was this one person a few years ago said, I'm not going to ordain until I see the last episode of Harry Potter, and then I can become a monk. So no entertainment. And there's also the next precept is no wearing of any perfumes or any adornments. You know, as you are, that's who you are. So, you know, no cosmetics. And then is sleeping and sitting in simple furniture, not using any fancy stuff in your accommodation. And lastly, the most important new rule for you is not having anything to do with money, jewelry, and money or expensive things. So life without cash. Oh, how beautiful that is. So those are the 10 precepts. So now I'll give them to you, starting off with the Namo Tassa, and you follow after me. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa.
Yamahang vadami tang vadehi. Okasa. Okasa, Avabante. Okasa.
Kaso,
Ama? Very good. Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammam saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sangham saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddham saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammam saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sangham saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatyampi buddham saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatyampi dhammam saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatyampi sangham saranang gacchami.
Ti sarana gamanang nititang. Panatipata veramani. Adinadana veramani. Abrahmacharya veramani. Musawada veramani. Sura meraya majja pamadatana veramani. Vikala bojana veramani. Nacha gita wadita visuka dasana veramani. Mala ganda vilepana dharana mandana vibhusanatana veramani. Ucha sayana mahasayana veramani. Jata rupa rajata Patigahana Veramani. Patigahana? Patigahana Veramani. Okay. Imani dasa sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Sadhu. Very good. You've done it. You've made it. You are now a novice monk, and for all of your relations, people on the left over here have heard me say this too many times, and all the monks are going to groan at this old joke. And he's now a novice. And if you want to know what the meaning of novice is, it means no vice. No more vices for you. Groan, groan. So you're no vice monk now. So welcome to the sangha as a novice monk, and personally, being your preceptor, I'm here to look after you. It is my job to make sure you're well fed, do a good job of that, and well looked after, and also well taught. So hopefully that you progress as a novice, and eventually get trained, and great meditation, being able to inspire, especially your mother and father, as a son they can be really, really, really proud of. And that's a wonderful thing to do. And not just them, but your friends in the monastery, and all of your other friends who have come here today, and the people who support you. All the Thai people, Sri Lankan people, Vietnamese people, Australian people, all the people who've come to the monastery, which you've helped with their food. Now they're so proud that they fed you for 1 year, and the investment is now paying off. Congratulations. So now the monks will give you a blessing, and after the monks give you the blessing, then you turn around and all your friends and family, the big family here, will all sort of come up personally and also congratulate you. But first of all, the monks. So atalado sukhita virulho buddha sasane arogyo sukhito hisaha hiyati biso atalado sukhito virulho buddha sasane arogyo sukhito hisaha sabe hiyati biso so atalado sukhito virulho buddha sasane arogyo sukhito hisaha sabe hiyati bi. That's a beautiful chant which we only do for ordinations, and it means it's well gotten of you, Pasada, for ordaining as a novice, and may it give you happiness and freedom from sickness, not just for you, but for your family as well. You were mentioned in that chant, a blessing for your family as well, for a long, long time. So congratulations. Now usually bow. Remember the saying, if in doubt, bow. We do it all the time as Buddhists. Okay, let's now turn around. And now, first of all, I think your father's going to offer you the bowl. So, if Pasado Peter, that's Pasada's dad in Pali, if you can offer the bowl to your son. And hopefully you're proud of him now and get even prouder of him afterwards. Very good. Wish him the best of luck. Very good. Okay, and everyone else come up. Maybe the family want to come up and just, sometimes you give him gifts. If you don't give him gifts, just give him your best wishes for his life as a monastic. Very good. It's okay. I can't see anything. One last time. Go on. You can hug him. What's it? Oh, you can hug me. Can I? Okay. Very good. Okay. Very good. I said we don't have any money. Now you're embarrassing me. It goes to the... Yeah. Very good. And the other one's in white. That's the next one in line. When are you ready? Okay. How long has he been here?
He came here in June or July.
June. Okay, yeah. Okay, very good. Oh, that's a good idea. Oops. Very good. Done so many of these now that it's become a bit boring. I have to try and make up some new jokes. Very good. Okay, you're allowed to talk to each other now. The main part of the ceremony is over. Wow, look at all these young people offering him gifts. That's very nice. Are you going back straight away? Very good.